Hi Disney friends, it is so good to see you. Hope you are doing well. If you are new here, my name is Christina K. Welcome, come on in. We are talking all things Disney today, what it's like to go to the parks during a pandemic, some of the newer things that I've checked out the past couple of trips, some things that none of us have checked out yet that are about to happen in the parks, and more. Hopefully I'll answer some of your questions in this. I know there's a lot going on with the company. Some things are rumors. We'll talk about that. I was really hoping I was gonna have somebody else with me for this video. It didn't work out that way schedule-wise, but that's okay. I still have you guys. Hopefully this is not just one big ramble, but we'll find out. Let's get into it and talk about what it's like to visit the parks during 2020. I know a lot of you are heading down to Walt Disney World. Some of you might be curious about what's going to happen in Disneyland. So the park reservation system, I will say they worked out a lot of the kinks that happened like the first day when I went on to make park pass reservations. That was a nightmare. And I will say it has improved in the past couple of months. When I went in October, you could only do the one park a day. So now they're reintroducing park hopping. Oh, you don't realize how much you love to park hop until it is taken away from you. It is very frustrating to plan everything in the park for one day. Now I know some people get the one park per day pass. I'm an annual pass holder, so I'm used to like park hopping and not really having a plan, maybe just like the 3 fast passes, but it was weird to make a park reservation. I will say in October when I went, it was not at 25% occupancy like it said. It was definitely more. Off the record, I talked to some cast members who said it was about 35, and it's interesting because now they're talking about raising it to 35, so I don't know if that means like 50. I don't know, but it was rather crowded for being a pandemic and for thinking that it was going to be a lot less crowded. So there is no fast passes, which is like so frustrating because the wait times are very, very long. Now they have gone down a little bit since I went because they put more of those dividers into ride vehicles. So like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was like a 90-minute wait. That's incredible. That is so long. And now that they put the dividers in, it's gone down a lot. So I hear it's like 30, maybe 45 minutes. And like towards the end of the night, that's what we would do for a big ticket attraction like that. We would wait like right before park close. And it would say like, I think it said 60 when we did Mickey and Minnie's, but it was really like 45. So keep that in mind too. Now, the thing with fast passes, why don't they have fast passes? A lot of these attractions are actually using those queue lines. So something like Peter Pan's Flight, you have 2 ways to go in. You have like the regular entrance and then you have the fast pass entrance. On the regular entrance, they actually utilize the fast pass area. I'm doing this like you know what's going on in my head, but you actually use not only the regular part of the line, but you actually go into the fast pass line and it like, you know, swerves around and there's dividers on the line, but it's because of the distancing, the 6 feet apart that they have, which is great that they have those markings on the ground. However, I will say you always get like that one family once a day that just doesn't want to wait behind their marker. A lot of times if the cast member will see it, they will say something, but there are areas of the line where they don't see what's going on, so it's very, very frustrating. But I will say the cast members do a great job of enforcing social distancing, making sure you're wearing a mask, although there was an episode on It's a Small World where a kid was not wearing a mask, and that was not pretty. But yeah, the cast members, whenever they see it, they will say something. That's their job. My next trip is supposed to be February, so I think it's a quieter time of year to begin with, so we'll see if the park occupancy is any different, but the wait times were just like astronomical for stuff that you wouldn't normally wait a long time for. Take the Haunted Mansion. So I've waited like 40 minutes maybe for that. It said like 60 most of the time, and the line, because of the social distancing aspect, was all the way down past the riverboat. In fact, they used the riverboat queue area to go in for the line. So it was just unbelievable. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. I've never been to Magic Kingdom when it's reached full occupancy, like during the holidays, so maybe that's a thing they've done in the past. I'm not familiar with it. You'll have to let me know in the comments below if you've been to the park when it's like that full occupancy. But with the social distancing, the lines look a lot longer than they are, but they're still pretty long. They're still long. Wearing a mask in the park, okay. It is brutal. If you've been grocery shopping or you've been anywhere where you need a mask, you know, like maybe work, after a while it really gets annoying. Now picture that in the Orlando heat when you're outside. It's brutal. It's great that they have areas where you can take them off, relaxation stations. It was always such a joy every time we sat down for a meal and we could take it off because you didn't feel like you were doing anything wrong. So that was nice, but yeah, it was brutal. I will say the new fabric masks that Disney have were so much more bearable than their older ones. I've heard mixed things about the older patterns, the fabrics rather, being a little bit more protective. So I know a lot of people will put like one of those blue reusable masks underneath the mask for a little bit more protection. That's totally your preference, but those masks are acceptable to wear in the parks. They will not let you use gaiters though, and the same goes for the Disney store if you're headed to the Disney store. Security was, yes, oh my goodness, loved security this time around, because they have those machines now where you keep your backpack on and you walk through with it on. They don't go through your bags. It is so much quicker. You literally just walk. Now, if you have a laptop or an iPad or an umbrella, if you have an umbrella in your backpack, you must take that out. And when you walk through the queue, you just hold it in front of you and just the machine, you just walk out with it. And that was great. Once we learned from a cast member that's what you do, it was such a breeze. It really made things a lot easier, because the bag check, let's face it, we dread that right before the magic happens. You're like, oh, I gotta go through bag check now. And then you always have that one person in your party where something goes off. Oh, it didn't happen this time. It was beautiful. There were lines not just for rides, which like I said, those were crazy, but to get into stores too, especially the smaller ones. They'll have those same markings, but they would have them outside the store as well. Now, tip for you, if you want to go into the Emporium or Mouse Gears, do that before park close, because you really won't have to wait on any line. I don't think we waited on any line to get into Mouse Gear or the Emporium. Once you get like an hour or two before park close, the line for the Emporium, now they use the very first entrance, it was all the way down Main Street, past Casey's Corners, past the Crystal Palace. So that was kind of crazy and nutty, but that's like a tradition. Like when you leave the parks at the end of the night, you go through the stores on Main Street. That's just what you do. So keep that in mind. Yeah, you'll probably have to wait a little bit for smaller stores, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Resorts, I think just Animal Kingdom Lodge and Kidani Village, that was the only one we waited online for, I think. Yeah. And now they're doing something that they didn't have when I was there, which is like your checkout on your phone, the mobile scan. So if you've done that, I think I'm waiting for Betty from Betty Says to weigh in on that, because she's always visiting the parks and the stores. Let me know in the comments below, or head over to her channel, because I'm sure she'll have a video or two about that. What was it like without characters, parades, or fireworks? It was sad. I mean, I will say they did a great job with the cavalcades. Is that how you say it? Cavalcades? Those were awesome. The one in Epcot made me cry when Goofy came by, because the last time I saw those guys, I was like, I don't know when I'll see them again. So it was just nice to be like, okay, I'm home. This is good. But it was weird not having character interactions. For the most part, every trip, I'll take a couple of pictures. Anthony and I said the one thing we wanted to do every trip was get a picture with Mickey. So of course we say that. And then how do we get a picture with Mickey? We made it happen though. It was great because he was on the train station. Up at the top, they would have characters there a lot. So we would just like take a selfie. And they did that at Crystal Palace. They had the Winnie the Pooh characters. We saw them throughout Epcot. So they had them just like very socially distanced, and you could take selfies. You know, it wasn't the same, but if you're going for like a quick weekend trip, it's okay, because then you're not waiting an hour to take a picture, right? Parades, I will say in Magic Kingdom, they nailed it. They had like parts of the Not So Scary parade. I hear amazing things about how they're doing that with the Christmas stuff. And like what's cool about that is sometimes it hurts to stand after a while for the parade. So you just get like the right amount, and throughout your day you could see parts of it, and it's like perfect. Especially you don't have to stand in the heat. The Orlando sun, that could be brutal sometimes. But yeah, the fireworks, that was sad. Especially the parks closed very early, and I saw in February when I go, it closes at like 6, all the parks, so I don't even think it's dark then. What was it like in the restaurants? Well, first of all, the big thing was no menus. They have a QR code on the middle of every table, and what you do is you take your phone, just open the pictures. You don't even need like the QR scanner, and you just hold it over and it will like pop up the menu. Now, the menus are very condensed. If you go to a restaurant a lot and they don't have something that you see or usually get, just ask them. They were great about it. They say, oh yeah, we do have it, but maybe like they don't have all the ingredients every day, so they don't want to put it on the menu to play it safe, so just ask them. It's fine. The only place I did get an actual physical menu was Kona Cafe when we went there for dinner, because I have a dairy allergy, so they gave me like a dairy menu, which you're not gonna find on the QR thing, if that makes sense. What I did love about the quick service restaurants, and now you guys might have taken advantage of this before, it was only in a couple of places, my family really didn't, was the mobile ordering. Oh my goodness, it was amazing. When we were waiting online for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and that was a long line, we were able to put in our order for where we were going for dinner that night, and then by the time we got there, we could say like, okay, we're there, or like as we're parking there, we could say, okay, we're here, they'll get it ready, and then you're good to go. It was amazing. A lot of times at like a Cosmic Rays, like who else has been there where you're waiting online for a very long time? No, you don't have to do that. It's amazing. And this way they contain the people in the restaurant. So like you don't have as many people just chilling at a table. Like you can't go in until you show them, okay, it says my order is here, ready for pickup, and they'll tell you which window to go through. Disney really took the time that they were closed to like, it's like a well-oiled machine. They really thought of everything. And that mobile ordering, that's something we're gonna do after the pandemic as well. That was awesome. Drinks, refillable mugs. That's always been a big thing at the resorts. You can still get a refillable mug, but they have like, even at the quick service places, they have a cast member that's there that will get the drink for you. So you're not touching the machine. So if you do have a refillable mug, you just show it to them and they'll pour it in a cup, and then you take the cup and then you pour it in your mug. So they're not handling your mug for germs and stuff. Same thing if you're like at ABC Commissary, you just show them your receipt or tell them, hey, I have like a cup of water or I have an iced tea or whatever, and they will get it for you. So it just kind of makes less people touching things. Dining, it used to be 180 days in advance. Now it is 60 days in advance, and actually it's like 60 days out for our February trip. So every day we have to like make another set of dining because we can't for some reason do the whole week, which is fine. But it's 60 days in advance, and they have a lot less reservations. Now they do have some walk-ins, and what's really cool is on the My Disney Experience app, they'll actually show you like a place like Kona where you normally have to make a reservation for dinner. They'll let you know like if you walk up to the window what your wait time is going to be on the app. So I think it said like 45 minutes was our wait time, and it was about that, maybe a little bit less, but it was nice to see that in Magic Kingdom, so we didn't have to like wait until we got there, see if we were chancing it. So that was really nice. Okay, let's talk about some newer things. Something I mentioned a lot here, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I was very, very fortunate enough to get to check it out in March, the first weekend or the second weekend. It was the weekend that it closed, I was there, and I got a chance to go on it twice back when fast passes were a thing. So I was lucky enough to go on it. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna try not to do too many spoilers with this. So if this is something that you want to see for yourself, I'm not gonna do like, oh, this part of the ride they had this. I'm not gonna do that. But I will say it was very hard for me because I was obsessed with the Great Movie Ride, and I know you either loved it or you hate it. So some people, there wasn't much to it, but that was a classic for me. That reminds me of my childhood. So that was very hard to realize, okay, that's no longer there and this is there. So the first time I went on it, I really did not like the attraction because that's all I could think about. The second time I liked it a little bit better, but it's not, I feel like so many people were like, wow, there's nothing else like this out there. And that is true, but it wasn't what I was expecting. And I don't hate it, but I'm not like jumping out of my skin over it. I think the song that's a part of the attraction is wonderful. I feel like there are parts of it that are great and exciting. There are parts that are wasted space to me. I'm very like 50-50 on it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm like, it's okay. I think it's going to be great in Toontown in Disneyland. I think that's the perfect spot for it, especially because as far as I know, now correct me if I'm wrong, they're not taking anything down to put that there. So it's just another attraction. So I think it's going to be perfect in Toontown. In Hollywood Studios where it is, I don't know. Agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments below if you've been on it. The Skyliner was actually one of those things, gonna be honest, I doubted. I was like, I don't understand why Disney's doing this. This doesn't seem safe. Is this gonna be efficient? I also am not like the biggest fan of heights, and I thought it could be a little intimidating. It's smooth, it's wonderful. There was maybe one time where we were sitting for a little bit and it gets a little warm, but for the most part there is a breeze. It is quick. I don't really have anything bad to say about the Skyliner. Now, I do know some people who have gotten stuck for like a half hour on that. My thought may be a little different if that happened to me, but for right now, I've been on it in March and October, and it was smooth sailing. It got us there. It was a nice way to like hop from Hollywood Studios to check out the Riviera, which I loved the Riviera. I know that's mixed reviews too, but I loved the rooms. We took a tour of the rooms. It is beautiful. The gift shop is like the tiniest gift shop, but my goodness, we found stuff there. So I actually really am excited to stay there one day for like a little weekend or something. But that was cool getting to see the resort that way. Yeah, I actually really like the Skyliner. Let me know in the comments below, again, if you agree or disagree on this. The pass holder store in Epcot. I think when we went, they didn't have as much stuff. I think it was like a turnover before they put out the Christmas stuff. I think the concept is cool. I wish every park had a pass holder store in it and more pass holder merch. Because you guys know, if you're like a pass holder or a D23 member or a cast member or whatever, you belong to with Disney, you want to wear that with pride. I have my little annual pass holder Mickey hat on, my favorite necklace on. And I just love anything that says pass holder or Disney Vacation Club or even cast member, because I was a cast member for a while. So I love that stuff. I like wear that with pride, and I know I'm not the only one. So it was really cool that they did have a pass holder store to support that. And the discount was great too. I think it was like stuff that was already discounted plus your annual pass holder discount on top of that. It's like, something that happened in March that I got to check out in Epcot also was Epcot Forever. I loved the soundtrack for Illuminations. It had been around for a while. I was sad when it ended, but I will say Epcot Forever, a lot shorter than Illuminations, but wow, the soundtrack, if you grew up going to Epcot in the 80s and 90s, Epcot Forever is for you. It made me so emotional, the soundtrack. The fireworks at times were like, okay, but then there was one part that was like really cool, and I hope they bring it back, but I think it's gonna be harmonious by the time fireworks happen again. So if you could see it on YouTube, you're here. It's well worth it, I think. Galaxy's Edge. Oh my goodness. So when Pandora opened, I was doubtful of Pandora, kind of like the Skyliner, because I saw the movie and I was like, I don't understand how Disney's gonna do this, and I was blown away by the theming of it. Flight of Passage just took my breath away. I was very, very impressed by Pandora. Then Toy Story Land opened, and again, I have fond memories of my time at Toy Story Land. I loved it, but it wasn't as immersive to me as Pandora, and all the Imagineers that I interviewed kept saying, when Galaxy's Edge opens, it's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna be like Pandora, but I try not to get my hopes up, especially because that area replaced so many things I loved growing up, like the old Backlot Express, so many things in that area. So I was a little nervous about it. But the first time I saw it was in Disneyland, and it was before Rise of the Resistance opened. It was just Smuggler's Run, and I teared up. I was like, I am in the movies. This is amazing. It just truly, truly exports you into a galaxy far, far away. Transports you into a galaxy far, far away. And the whole theming of it, even the way the cast members talk and their name tags, it's just, they did such an amazing job on that. Those Imagineers, man, this was a wonderful project. And then I got to see it at Walt Disney World, and it's nice that that has two entrances there, one from Toy Story Land and one from their Streets of America, New York Street, whatever they're calling that area. So it's really cool that you have two entrances. I mean, you have two entrances at Disneyland too, and what I like about the one in Disneyland is that it's so far removed from the park. Like, you have to walk a little bit, and I think that is so cool because you really are traveling to a galaxy far, far away. So when we checked it out in Disneyland, the only attraction that was there was Smuggler's Run, and I think it was only like a 30-minute wait, and we waited. The queue for that is so cool, really, really impressive, especially like right outside it with the Millennium Falcon. Is just, oh my God. You can see all the pictures on Instagram you want, but until you see it in person, oh my goodness. So I think that ride is really fun. It was hard this last trip because you're only in with your party. So when I went in Disneyland last September, there was four of us. How many? There was four of us, and then there was two other people. They, you know, each ride vehicle has 6 people, so everyone's doing a different job in there. So it definitely operates a lot better. This time it was just Anthony and I, so things were not functioning as properly as they should, but it was still a lot of fun, and just getting to, you know, be in that queue and be on the Falcon and put it into hyperspace, that's really cool. So I do enjoy that ride. It's not like a ride I'm gonna have to do every trip. However, Rise of the Resistance, oh my gosh, so I missed out on it. Last December, I don't even think we did Hollywood Studios. And then in March, I tried getting there early. It just didn't work out. But there's a reason why I picked this in my last video as a favorite for 2020, because this attraction, oh my goodness. So the first day my family went, it was me, my sister, and my parents. We went to the park and we tried to get a boarding group number, and it just did not work. And like, I saw people freak out. We were freaking out, and I was like, why is this so impossible to get? Fast forward to a couple of days, and we were able to get on it 3 times, and I now understand why people were freaking out. And I wish Anthony was here to talk about this too, because my family hasn't been on it, just the 2 of us went on it, and oh my gosh. I have a friend who works in Galaxy's Edge, Nathaniel. Hi Nathaniel, I love you. And he said that he loves going to the end of the ride to hearing people's reactions when they get off the ride, especially for the first time. He's like, people are like trying to hug us. They say how much this is amazing. They're crying. They throw their babies at us. He just said it, and every day it happens. We went on it like 3 times, and every time I was just like completely blown away by this attraction. Hands down, one of my favorites, in my top 5. I can't say it's my favorite because there's such like Disney attractions to me that will like never be replaced, but oh my goodness. If you take Pandora Flight of Passage and you take Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, you have Rise of the Resistance. And I think that's a really good way of explaining it. If you've been on both of those things, you kind of get it. But it's just incredible. Like, talk about feeling like you're in a movie. Disney did an amazing job. The Imagineers. I know the technology is so advanced. That's why it's like every day broken down at some point of the day. I did ask the cast member, actually Nathaniel, why do they do the boarding pass? And he said there's never been an attraction where literally every guest wants to ride it. Kids, adults, people who don't even know Star Wars because of the hype of it. So when they reopened, I think it was like their opening day in July, was it? The line was almost at the end of the park. So they had to bring back this boarding pass. And he said this makes sure that the line is not crazy. Now, yes, you have people who get like really violent if they don't get a boarding pass, but I guess it just helps contain it a little bit more organized. I mean, is there another way that they could do this? Probably, but this is what they're doing for now. And wow. It's crazy. So now we did have a boarding pass time that we got in the 2 o'clock area. So we were told that it was probably going to lie around 6 o'clock that we were going to get called. And we said, we got like a 6:10 reservation at the Hollywood Brown Derby. And they said there's like a thing in the park where they know that that is the people's priority. So if you go and tell them, you know, I have my boarding pass time, it's probably going to be around this time, they will understand and they'll give you leeway. And they did, but the problem was it broke down while we were there, so we never even made the reservation, but they understood. But yeah, that ride is like, whoa, oh my goodness. Now, if you are headed to the parks and you don't start your day in Hollywood Studios, you park hop to Hollywood Studios. Let's say you go to Magic Kingdom, Epcot, or Animal Kingdom during the day, and then you park hop to Hollywood Studios, you cannot get a boarding pass. You can only get a boarding pass if you start. If that's the day you have your park reservation for, that's when you can get a boarding pass. Otherwise, every night everyone's park hopping to Hollywood Studios, so they're trying to organize it a little bit. So let me know in the comments below if you like that attraction and what you think of the boarding pass system and all that jazz. I'm just glad I didn't have to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and wait outside to potentially get on this attraction. Oh, I'm running out of breath here. Merch pass on Shop Disney. You know I do a lot of hauls here. I am so upset with people are doing with eBay. I don't understand it. I know people are trying to make money, but I think it's just so terrible that like people who genuinely want these items and then people are using these bots to get so many of them and then just marking them up on other, you know, like eBay and Mercari and all those things. So that Disney introduced this merch pass system, especially because they're making everything such limited edition. And all you need to do is put limited edition and those eBay trolls are like, I'm going to get a bunch of them. So this merch pass system was supposed to help with that. Have you guys been successful with that? I think I got 2 things on merch pass. I think one was like a key. I don't remember what the other thing was. It's frustrating because, especially if you're collecting something like a key or a pin set, I know with the Minnie Mouse main attraction, I don't know. I don't know if they look into people's, like, how many times they've bought stuff. Maybe that's why they do this merch pass. I don't really know all the details. I just know it's become very difficult to get things. Luckily, there hasn't really been anything that I needed. Not that I need any of this, but like I really, really wanted with merch pass. Luckily, all the other limited edition stuff I was able to get without merch pass. So I don't know if they're going to keep this up, if they're going to do something different. Maybe when things reopen more, they'll take it away. But since you can really only get things online, unless you live right near the park or you happen to be there, yeah, it's complicated. This is turning out to be a much longer video than I expected. Let's talk about things that are coming to the parks, like the new Ratatouille attraction in Epcot. First of all, when I went on the Skyliner in March, I could see a lot of it. In October, same thing. It looks amazing. France is my favorite pavilion in Epcot. I adore Ratatouille, so I'm really, really excited for that expansion. I saw a couple years ago, I don't remember it fully, but a couple years ago, before they even made the announcement that I was coming to Epcot, I did the ride through of the one in Paris and it looked amazing. It's a simple ride, but like right up my alley. So I'm really, really excited for them to add that. Same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Oh my goodness, the construction on that is just incredible. First of all, the construction all over Epcot is like, what park am I in when you walk in? Especially because you can go 2 ways. You could walk literally next to the Living Seas, or you could walk next next to, I was gonna say, Universe of Energy, the new Guardians building. So walking right next to them is something you've really never been able to do before, because everything from Spaceship Earth, where like the Innovations plazas were, like all of that, the fountain is knocked down right now. They have a temporary mouse gear. It's wild. And if you've ever been to Cast Connections, that's what mouse gear is kind of reminiscent of right now, but it's temporary. So I'm really am excited about the Guardians coaster. I love that movie, the characters. I'm glad it's not the Tower of Terror, because I can't do the free falling attraction that they have in Disneyland. I know everyone loves that ride. I can't do it, so I'm very excited about this attraction. And it's a new kind of ride vehicle. I don't know if you saw the Imagineering video that they put out maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where they were testing out the ride vehicle. It's like a coaster, but then it like spins. It's kind of like Primeval Whirl on steroids in space. Yeah. The Tron Coaster is another coaster that they're working on, and I feel like every day I go on Instagram, someone's posting more progress. That's supposed to be open for the 50th. That looks amazing. That's another attraction that I did a ride through of, the one in Shanghai. My boss and I actually did it. We blew it up in like our conference room to watch it, and it's like that I'm gonna scream bloody murder on, but it's gonna be worth it. I am so excited that they opened the walkway between Grand Floridian and Magic Kingdom. My family is DVC, and we stay at the Grand Floridian a lot. In fact, we did this past trip. We're going to again in February, and I'm so excited that we can walk to Magic Kingdom, especially like these days where you don't want to maybe take the monorail, which I did like how they did the monorail, by the way, with the pandemic. But sometimes you don't want to take the monorail, or I want to take the monorail, but sometimes other people don't want to. So now you could walk, and that's great if the parks are crowded too, like at the end of the night, walking home. That's one of our favorite things about staying at Bay Lake and the Contemporary, is that you could just walk back to your room. And I think the Grand Floridian might be a little bit closer, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it is further. I don't know, but I'm hearing everyone loves the walkway that has taken it so far. Okay, while we're talking about the resorts over there, the Polynesian, one of my favorites, the renovation over there. I have nothing against the rooms being Moana inspired. I usually stay in the DVC rooms, and those are pretty new, so I don't think they're renovating them, and I love the way those rooms look. It's a little hard though when you're in the lobby right now, because there's tarps over it, so it's very dark. And do you guys remember the old Polynesian lobby? It was just like you would walk in and there'd be birds and a fountain and like koi ponds, and it just like had a beautiful, the scent was even like more enhanced. It was wonderful. I'm hoping they do more like that. I was upset when they did the renovation of Poly. I've gotten used to it now, but it's hard to see it go through changes again. The cross beams on the top, watching them take those down every day, it was like another set was down. That was hard. I don't know if they're like replacing them, but it should be interesting. There's a lot more new stuff that's coming to the parks, but that was like the big stuff that I wanted to talk about. There is a rumor out right now. There's 2 rumors out, and maybe by the time this gets posted, they will be addressed. One is that coming to Disney Plus is going to be Marvel's Black Widow movie. I don't know. I'd be all for that, but nothing has been announced yet. I don't know why all of a sudden that rumor came back up, unless I missed something. And then when it comes to Imagineers, Rhodey is retiring, and Rhodey is brilliant. He's basically the man behind Animal Kingdom. He did a lot of Epcot stuff. He's Pandora was his baby. So he's the guy with the big earring. If you've ever seen like the Imagineering story or any Disney documentary, he is a brilliant, brilliant man. I think he did the Guardians, what is it? Guardians Rewind? Is that what it's called? In California Adventure. He's done a bunch of stuff, and it's just like, he's brilliant. So he's leaving the company, which is very sad. Bob Iger, who's brilliant, is leaving the company. Tony Baxter is not leaving just yet. He will be retiring soon. But he said his last project that he wants to do is to refurbish Imagination. Now, again, if you've been going to the park since the 80s and 90s, Imagination has gone through a lot of changes. I think they should bring back some of like the 90s charm of that attraction, so maybe that's what he's trying to go with. There's also a rumor that there's going to be an Imagination live action, so like a Figment movie. I don't know how I feel about that. I love Figment, but I don't know that these live action movies need to stop. I mean, I don't really like love any of them. Do you guys love any of them? Let me know in the comments below if there's one that you truly love. They usually bother me more than they excite me. So I think if they start touching park stuff, like look what happened when they did the Country Bears and the Haunted Mansion. Not the greatest. Pirates was pretty good though, but that was like before the live action days. All right, so I talked enough. I would love to know your thoughts on all these things. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. We have more hauls on the way. I got a giveaway currently going on, and I've actually extended it a little bit, so the details will be below. I'll also leave the video up in the eye and down below. What else do we do? Collection videos, we got more of those. I'm gonna do updated Loungefly and like Spirit Jersey ones and a couple of others. And then I know we haven't done art yet, Thomas Kincaid. Those might come after the new year. Same thing with the updated collections, but later this week I do have my ornament collection video, and I think I might have one other holiday collection video if I haven't done that already on the way. So you'll just have to stay tuned and subscribe for more. Like this video if you want to see more Disney conversations. And that's it for me. Thanks for watching and bearing with me. If you made it to the end, kudos to you. You're the real MVP. I am Christina K. Have a Disney day.